What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Unguided Nations podcast. I am your host, Richie Tolway. For those of you who don't know me, you better find out. You better find out real goddamn quick, because it's my podcast, I'm the only one here, and you're not going to get anybody else out of this, so learn to love it, baby. Hi, welcome. I don't know why that came off so aggressively. I've had a lot of sugar today. How's everybody doing? This is the second episode. I'm so excited for it. The first one went off so well. I'm just assuming, because I haven't released it or anything. It's not like I've gotten data on it or anything like that. But I'm assuming you guys all loved it, and you guys are all writing me lots of letters and saying how much you want to, meet me, and there's probably like girls from my high school that are like, oh my god, I always meant to talk to you, and a lot of that kind of stuff, Anyways, it's a great, beautiful night in Bangkok. I'm trying to figure out, so basically, I'm going to post a picture of this on my Instagram, but it's so silly, the setup I have for this podcast right now, because I just bought this this Blue Yeti condenser microphone, and it picks up every single breath that I do. So there's a lot of stuff I have to do in post, which, reduces the quality. I need to get a better mic, is what I'm saying, which is a bummer, because I spent a lot of money on this mic. But in order to also block out the rest of the noise, like this mic, people have been like, yeah, I didn't know there was a baby in my building, and I heard a baby crying in my recording. Like, it's a fucking ghost mic. It picks up everything. It'll pick up, like, my neighbor 28 floors down farting quietly. So it picks up every breath, and it's just a pain in the ass. So in order to block out the rest of the room noise, and literally anything that I'm doing... Oh my god. I know for a fact that I can hear a baby crying in the recording right now. This is so fucked up. This mic is so stupid. Okay, so I'm buying a new mic. It's basically a condenser mic, so it takes any sound whatsoever and just like amplifies it way too fucking much, including all of the quiet noises. I can literally hear a baby crying in my headphones, and I know it's a baby that's at least 4 doors down in like a new apartment building, like solid concrete walls. I can hear the baby crying, unless I'm being haunted, which is very possible, because what I have right now is I have a table, I have my laptop on the table, the microphone on a pad to make sure that it doesn't hear any bumps, and then I put a chair on top of everything. So the chair is, like, the 4 legs are over my laptop, and then there's a blanket draped over all of that. And I'm basically, like, in this little arcade booth with the blanket draped behind my head, just in my little secret zone where nobody else is allowed, but also, fuck all could be happening right behind me. There could be a murderer standing right outside my little tent that I have right now. Okay, I had to check. I freaked myself out. I do that sometimes. But anyways, so yeah, I mean, this is just like insane just to try to like keep this recording reasonably listenable. So I have to get a new setup. But either way, we're moving on. What's up? I was just thinking today, so I've been doing a lot of these meetings. Now that I'm back in Bangkok and I have a place where I can like find regular meetings and shit, I've been I'm also just releasing now a video about, someone challenged me to go to Khao San Road sober. So I had to go to this place. It's basically like, the debauchery capital of Bangkok. It was just like you walk down the street and it's just crazy bars. You can hear like so many radios playing at once from all of these bars, just like blasting music. And there's, prostitutes everywhere, and everybody's just hammered. There's whippets being sold for like $1.50, and everybody's just completely fucked up. So they're like, yeah, dude, go do Khao San Road sober. And traveling sober is kind of just an interesting beast in and of itself. So it is nice to go to meetings and talk to people who also do it, because the one thing that everybody does, all the travelers, they go to hostels. They meet their hostel mates, and they're like, let's go drink. Let's go to the bar. Let's go to the bar. Let's go to the pub. Let's go to the club. Whatever it is, it's always like a drinking event. That's, it's, I guess, probably younger people too. I'm like one of the fucking old fuddy-duddies that, fuddy-duddy? Where the fuck did I pick up the word fuddy-duddy? That's absolutely some word my mom uses, and, ugh. Okay, Anyways, I'm one of the older people, and especially with not drinking and like, being like, I'm gonna get up for sunrise. I'm gonna go film the sunrise. It's been interesting. And I was, of course, really concerned. I was only 3 months sober when I left. So I was kind of concerned, and like, there's always the temptation just to like give up and be like, I can just start drinking again. I'm not in New York anymore. I'm not where all the drugs are and all my friends are that will go out till 6 a.m. and I don't have, 8 dealers that I can hit up to keep drinking. So there's always been the temptation of like, well, why don't you just have, one beer or whatever? And it's whatever. I've stayed sober. But the first night I wanted to talk about, it's really funny. The first night I landed in London. This was back August 10th, I guess, August 9th, August 10th, 2018. And I landed in London, and I had no idea, like, I don't know, I can't look at a map of Europe and point out countries, let alone like anything about cities or towns or whatever. So I had no idea of which part of London I was staying in. I thought I was staying in like, London proper, like the nicer part of London, maybe Trafalgar Square or something like that. Or, what is it, Piccadilly Circus, yeah, I don't know, just somewhere where all the people are, like the Times Square. No, I stayed in a little place called Shoreditch. Just like a little nothing neighborhood. It's like a very hipster neighborhood, like, up and coming, kind of little rundown, some dogs running around, but a lot of like parties, a lot of bars, a lot of all that stuff. And I was in a straight up party hostel. And what I didn't include in the video, again, there's a lot of stuff that happens in the rest of my life, because some of these earlier vlogs, it was like an entire week that I was wrapping up into an 8-minute video. So there's a lot of weird shit that's going on in my life that you can't just tell as a story. I don't know. At least I'm not PewDiePie, I don't want to sit there and just like talk into a fucking camera for that long. I mean, I do sometimes, but why am I even talking about that? The first night there, second night there, I'm sorry. We go, and I have a hostel mate named Mary. She's very nice. She's been in a couple of the videos, actually. She was singing, Sweet Home Chicago at the end of the second video. But she was there, and she invited me up on the roof. They were going and like drinking up on the roof. So it's also like, I think the drinking age is 18 in London. I believe so. So it's like kids drinking, or maybe it's 20. I have no clue. But a bunch of young kids drinking, and they're drinking all around the clock. Like in Europe, you just drink all the time. And that's, I don't know how it's part of their culture. They just manage to drink all the time. They've always, like throughout history, they tell the U.S. soldiers, like, hey, don't try to outdrink the UK soldiers, They can just do it better than us. They can marathon drink. So anyways, it's Mary, some other guy, and then it is this Australian chick. And this Australian, like, they're having beers. Mary and this other guy, I think, were having beers. And this Australian chick was wilding out. She was like pounding beers, and then she went and got a bottle of rum. I think she had a bottle of Coke and then a bottle of rum. And she drank a little bit of the Coke down, poured some rum in, drank the Coke bottle down to half a bottle, and then like just filled it up with rum and kept doing that until it was just kind of a bottle of rum. And I watched her polish off like a half a bottle of rum, if not more, like in an hour. Like drinking like I did in like when I was 13. We did that when I was like 13 years old. Me and my friends all got drunk before junior high, and I was the only one that could hold my shit together. One of my friends got caught, and actually my girlfriend at the time almost got like alcohol poisoning. She was like first hour showed up and just started puking tequila all over the place. So she got in huge trouble. Then my friend got caught because he was drunk, and I just was like, I've always skated by with that shit. I have no idea how. Didn't get caught. Just kind of had to feel bad for everybody else that did get caught, but I got to have all the fun still. But also being hungover at school sucks. Like coming off of being drunk as fuck in the morning. Also just drinking at 7. What was I doing? So this girl is drinking like a half a bottle of rum in about an hour. And they're like, all right, we're going to get ready. And so she gets ready. She comes down. They're all like dressed in their skirts. And we're going to go to bars. And I'm just like trying to fit in, you know? I just want to hang out with people, and to like the first night to get invited out, I'm just like, oh, this is cool. I can be social. I can go out and do things. I don't have to like be flying solo through this whole thing. So I was really concerned about that. And by the time we got down the stairs, this Australian chick could not walk. Like, we were carrying her, she was flopping around, but she's Australian. That's very important. And for anybody who is Australian, you know what I'm talking about. She's fucking, yeah, fucking kind, like blah, blah. I can't even do an Australian accent right now, not without like hearing one, but just like, nah, I'm fucking Australian cunt, I can fucking do anything, just screaming. Fucking, what happened? She was like laying on the floor of the hostel, like spreading her like it was so much. It was so fucking much the first day when I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to stay sober. And we tried to like straighten her out. No place would, like we went down the street and she's like just falling down the street. Like, you know when you lean too far forward and your feet keep trying to catch up to the rest of your body and it just doesn't happen? That's just how she was walking, just in a beeline down the street like a ping pong ball off everybody. And then if she hit somebody, she would just yell at them like it was their fault. It was great. She kept trying to smoke a cigarette that didn't exist. It was a lot of fun to watch. But we walked down the street. This all took place in about 10 minutes. We walked all the way down the street through all the clubs. Nowhere is going to let her in. They're just like, fuck no. That's when I found out she's 19 years old. And so, whoops, did I get an email? Fun. Angel Evans has subscribed to you on YouTube. Fantastic. A new subscriber. Wow. Guys, the life is looking up. Everything's getting better. So this chick is sitting outside of the hostel now. She's on the floor. We're like, what do we do? And there's 4 of us. And the other 2 just look at me and they're like, do you mind taking her upstairs? And I'm like, no, I guess I'll take her upstairs and meet back up with you guys. And that was a 4 or 5 hour ordeal of just like crying and emotionality and just like whatever. I mean, we've all been there. I'm not like shitting on her. We've all been there. It was just a wild night for me to experience. And she was totally, you know, cool about it. Like she was fine. She was actually pretty, like for how much she drank and how small of a girl she was, like I wouldn't have been like that. I would have been fighting people. She was, you know, relatively cool. She just got emotional and got drunk, and then I had to carry her up the stairs and fight like with her roommate to let her come in. It was a lot. It was a lot. I think I went to bed like at 2 a.m. that first, or I guess the second night. I got there at like 3 a.m. the first night, but the second night it was a lot. And then I went out and walked around a little bit, got a breath of fresh air, and a drunk dude walked up to me and he goes, yeah, I'll fucking wear my belt like this, and he punched me in the face. So the moral is traveling sober is a nightmare, and I would rather be drunk and punching people, but I know that I'm not. So you just have to be the guy getting punched or the guy that people ask to take the drunk crying girl upstairs to talk her down for 4 hours while the half a bottle of rum slowly leaves her system. Pretty wild, you guys. Pretty fucking wild, which leads me to my next point. Corn. How's that for a segue? You got corn. I just feel like, okay, so leaving the U.S. for the first time, for people who haven't ever left the U.S., and I know I'm not in a minority, that's like a fucking thing, and it's weird, but the rest of the world knows. The rest of the world knows that we, as Americans, are very insulated. We're like, because we have everything. We're told that, like from the like, this land is made for you and me. We're just like, it's a song that lists all the different things we have. We can see mountains, we can see trees, we can see beach, we can see whatever we want in our own little country, so we don't need yours. I don't know. I never thought that there's a whole other world that does totally fine without being the U.S., guys. It's really wild. It's not everybody else in the world wants to be in the U.S. or wants to be the U.S. Like, we get kind of laughed at sometimes. It's just bizarre because you hear all the shit about, I'm leaving at the time, you know, like North Korea and you know, Kim Jong-il, whatever. North Korea's getting laughed at and mocked, you know, and it's like, you know, we go to these places, we go to Russia and we go to North Korea and we're like, look at these sad people. They don't even know how bad they have it. It's so sad and so horrible. Remember when I said the segue was corn and then I forgot that I just want to talk about this instead? But it's so bizarre because you look at that and you're like, oh yeah, they don't even understand in Russia what they're missing out on and those poor people in North Korea. But dude, I feel like I left a fucking, like a propaganda factory. Like there's a lot of the world that's very chill without being the US. And it has no interest in becoming the US and kind of thinks that we're fucking dumb. Because we're kind of dumb. Like the system, the capitalist system, I mean, I don't want to get too political here, but you know, if you look at it, the spending on education has gone down. They're making us very dumb. And this is not even the government. This is just like the, you know, like the fucking Jeff Bezos, the Illuminati that's like population control, man. I'm going to talk about this for like 2 more seconds because I cannot get down this rabbit hole right now. Welcome to the Travel Podcast, the Illuminati and the Lizard People. But no, it's like, man, if you look at over the last 50 years, just like the sheer spending is not going to take care of the people. And really, we're divided on so many issues. And as long as you and I can find some reason to disagree, whether it's over black versus white or gay versus straight or guns or abortion or anything else, man, as long as we can find something else to disagree about, rather than saying, hey, you know what? We're both fucking poor. Like we both literally have no access to wealth or like a decent life. As long as we don't do that, then that's fine. So they keep us very divided and keep us very dumb and like free of like critical thought. So instead we're just like sports teams and you're either fucking pro-gun or anti-gun or pro-gay or anti-gay and Republican or Democrat, like whatever you are, you have to be a team and you have to be against the other team. It's like fucking, it's a Bug's Life, dude. It's like the whole country hasn't seen the movie A Bug's Life. If the fucking ants rise up, we can kill like the 4 grasshoppers, but that's never going to happen because we're too dumb. But anyways, so leaving was very eye-opening because it's just like, oh shit, man, there's, you know, a whole world where it you know, they teach their children to go out and travel. The whole hostel system was made in Germany. It originated in Germany, and they built these, you know, small, cheap living hostels for the youth. They're called youth hostels just for that reason. You don't really have to be young. They were intended for the youth. They were intended that you graduate high school and you have that gap year between high school and college, and you go out and you explore the world. You gain culture through experience, and you see things and hear things and taste things and talk to different cultures and experience different cultures. And it's just so beautiful, rather than like the mine, this is my plot of land, fight for it, protect it, arm yourselves. It's not that. And not saying that the rest of the world is without its problems. I mean, there's racism all over the place, and almost weirdly justified racism, because at least like when a weird ass, like when some gross ass white person in the US is just like, yeah, get all, you know, I respect my fucking heritage. It's just like, dude, you were like a mixture of inbred blah white, like your European heritage. What if you're German, if you're 100% German and you've always lived in Germany, I get like wanting to, like, at least you can claim purity, you know? Not that it's a good thing, but I understand at least, like, it makes sense when like Swedish people in Sweden are like, yeah, we don't really like anybody other than Swedish people in Sweden. That at least makes fucking sense. Not like, oh yeah, I'm a mix, but I don't like the other mix. It's fucking dumb. But anyways, so not saying that the rest of the world is perfect. Not saying that the US is complete trash, but man, there's a whole world. And I really wish that people were encouraged more to travel and do more things rather than just, I guess the rich who are like, oh, yeah, I studied abroad. Like even studying abroad, that's nothing. Like you should have a gap year. It should be encouraged. You should know that you're going to go get culture to see the world. And I mean, I'm really, pot calling the kettle black because I didn't do it till I was 30. And it took me a long time to like wake up, but it's just nuts. I mean, don't buy into the propaganda. The US isn't the envy of the world. There's a lot of world out there. There's a lot of third world countries with very happy people with like beautiful lives. And sometimes you just like you look at a dude who's like, yeah, I've lived on this little island all my life. I work for the police here. I have a family and I love my little simple life. And it's just like, yeah, respect that guy. Why not? We can't all be, I don't know, we can't all be fucking rock stars. Sometimes you just gotta be happy with your life. And there's so many people out there that you can meet that are just like really happy in their culture and in their life. So it's been beautiful. One of the things I've learned though is corn, baby. Corn, almost everywhere else, is a fruit. Isn't that wild? I sound like such a dumb hick right now, but it's kind of intentional, I guess. But it just blows my mind, and it's such a stupid thing to be like, man, look at that crop, dude. They putting that crop in Danish. But they are. Like corn, especially in Asia, I mean, most places they call it sweet corn. If you're gonna get it in like a sandwich, it's called like chicken and sweet corn. Like they've identified this like American corn that we have as sweet corn because it's so sugary. And in Asia, it's just straight up in Danishes. They just put it on ice cream. I went to Swenson's. I do intermittent fasting, which is, lately I've been like not eating for 3 days at a time. And then I just have a few hours where I cannot control myself. And unfortunately, it's usually at very bad times, like 10 p.m. when I finally decide to break my fast. Like after a meeting at 8 p.m., I'll go walk for an hour. And then I'll be like, I gotta eat. I can't go to bed again tonight without eating. And the only alternative to not eating at 10 is eating at midnight and getting like 7-Eleven food. So I've been going to like fast food restaurants, anywhere that's open at 10 p.m. Not great food. But anyways, I break these fasts and I go hog wild. And Swenson's ice cream is actually pretty big out here. But they have a corn sundae. They do like shaved ice with the sweet cream, and then they just put corn on top. Meanwhile, we treat that shit, we act like we're eating vegetables. We're eating little sugar pockets. The rest of the world's like, no, that's a topping, dude. That's like sprinkles. We're eating sprinkles as a whole side. Ain't that wild? Ain't that wild? Intermittent fasting is insane. It's I started reading up on it, and it's this trend now, and I guess I'm just fucking some idiot that follows YouTube trends, but I got to keep connected somehow. And but intermittent fasting, dude, there's these people that will do water fasts. It's literally nothing but water, and then coffee or tea, but black, unsweetened, all that, and very little of it. You can't just be caffeinated, 100%. You have to be doing a lot of water. Water fast, though, these people do it for like 45 days. 45 days these people go without food. That's how long you can go without food. It's insane. They go 20 days, they go 10 days. It's nuts. I was going to do a 5-day fast, and I got to 40 hours, and I broke it. And then I was going to do try the 5-day fast again, and I ended up doing like 3.5 days. And I started reading up that once you get past 3 days and like get to the 5 days or a week, you have to really be careful about what you reintroduce back into your diet and all that stuff. So you should be monitored. You should be like slowly putting in little bits. You can't even like just go get a smoothie or a fruit because that sugar spike will just give you like instant diabetes. It's kind of wild once you get past 3 days. So I did a 3-day fast followed by, I guess I kept doing, I was doing 36-hour fasts. So I just wouldn't eat I only had one big meal every day and a half. And I mean, it's kind of all around great. I can't say anything bad about it, which probably isn't good. If you have eating disorder problems, don't listen to any of what I'm saying. I'm an idiot. I'm not a doctor. I'm literally the farthest thing you could ever be from a doctor, probably. I have anti-advice. But it's been great because it feels good to be hungry, man. I like feeling hungry. That's like, it makes you feel alive as a person. Like, you shouldn't always be comfortable. You can't always be comfortable. You gotta be like a little hungry sometimes. And to have that little pit in your stomach that you're like, I kind of want to go searching for some food. And that just keeps you light on your feet. It keeps you like searching. And I mean, it keeps you hungry. That's why they call it being hungry. You're looking, you're searching, you're anticipating things. So I love it. And then you get to eat like a fucking pig. You're not supposed to, actually. They say that just as important as the fasting is, it's what you put in your body immediately afterwards. And most of the time, it is microwave meals from 7-Eleven, followed by pastries from 7-Eleven. So probably not the best. Probably not the best idea, but I've been feeling great. No matter what, I fast for 24 hours every day. Like, I have one big meal every day. I ditched the 36-hour, and now I'm doing 24-hour fasting. It feels pretty fucking good. Like tonight, I went to this meditation meeting, and afterwards, this guy invited me out. This guy from Atlantic City. He's in Thailand. He married a Thai woman and was back like working on their winter home. But he took me out to these markets. And I haven't fucked with a lot of the street food in Thailand. My parents told me, they were like, you have to do it. My parents came to Thailand, I think a year ago, and they were like, you have to eat at the street carts. That is where the good food is. And that's where all the locals eat and everything else. But here is the thing about traveling solo. All right, we're talking about we're talking about traveling sober, and we're talking about not eating. No, I guess no. Then I just went into a crazy rant. And now we're talking about traveling solo. Here's the thing about traveling solo, guys. Not everything is fun. Especially when you're filming. Filming is the only thing. I just talk to my cameras and I have to treat them like they're my friends. I have to talk to them like they're people. I need water. I talk to my cameras like they're my friends. And I treat them like people. And that's, to make it interesting, that's kind of a Mr. Rogers technique. How he said in his in that movie, he was like, when I speak to the camera, I imagine one person. I picture one person, and that's how he was able to be so personable. But me, on the other hand, I just give it a name. I've personified my cameras. And I'm just like, we are going to do this, and we are going to do that. And hey, you guys need to get over here. I just talk to them like they're people, because that's the only thing I can do. I'm going insane. But like, when you go out alone and have a bad time, there's nothing to save that. Okay, look, you and your significant other, you guys are traveling to Thailand, you're going to Phuket, or you're going to Bangkok, say. You're walking down the street, there's all these streetcars, and you're like, babe, ooh, look at that one. Ooh, look at those balls. Look at those little meatballs on a stick. Are those eggs? Ooh, what are these fried things? It's fun. It's interactive. It's like nachos. Who has a bit like that? Chris Calogero has a really funny bit about nachos. He's a comedian in New York, about how they're like a very communal food. Like, they're a very fun food. I'm not going to rip off his bit, but about like the nachos are like a super fun, like they're an event food, you know? And eating at street carts is an event thing. Like, you go and you're like, ooh, look at that, let's eat together. Ooh, can I pick off your plate? Let's share this. And when it sucks, you get to just have a bad meal with, you're like, oh, that was kind of weird. Remember when we had that weird duck beak thing? Like, that's fine. When you're alone, you walk up to a street cart, you can't speak with them, there's no one to talk to, you can kind of ask for general descriptions, but either way, you have no idea what it really tastes like. And then if it sucks, you just paid money for a meal and you have to kind of like politely nod to them and then walk away and throw it in the trash. And how many times can you fucking do that? Like, how many times do you want to do that before you're like, you know what? I don't go to street carts anymore. I can't do that. Unless it's like filming shit, which honestly I'm getting like tired of being like, I can't, this man versus food style filming where I'm like, I'm going to eat 3,000 calories in snacks and I'm going to do that. You can only do that so many times. So it's like, you're either going to go on a marathon and have to be like a YouTubey douchebag where you're like, all right, we're here trying every stupid thing on this street cart, or you're alone and you're just like, these, and they're like, kapata, and you're like, yeah, that one, and they're like, kapata, and then you say, yeah, and they go, 20 baht, and then you pay them, and you take a bite, and you're like, oh, that's a fish ball, and you don't really like fish balls because it's mashed up fish, and it was just made into a ball, and then put on a grill, and it's not great. I actually haven't tried a fish ball yet, but I can only imagine that that's what it tastes like, because that's what it is. It's just mashed up fish. So it's tough. It's tough to eat street food. It's weird traveling alone, doing things alone, eating durian fruit, and having to set up a camera and be like, I'm here eating durian fruit. People are like, what? Who is he talking to? Who's that strange man talking to? And then I'm like, I'm Rich Toll with Unguided Nations. I'll see you next time on another adventure. And slam the camera, look around. Everybody's staring at me, and they're like trying to not stare at me. And I just wash my hands off and walk away. And I leave. And I make it look like I'm doing cool things sometimes. Bungee jumping? Dude, bungee jumping, that was me and 3 guys that were waiting for me to leave so they could go back on break. There are like behind the scene clips where I go up and it's one New Zealand owner, and he's like, please don't joke on camera about people dying here. Nobody's ever died here. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I won't. And then I have to go, and there's 3 dudes who were like pretty much napping in the shade that I had to annoy so that they could take me up, I could bungee jump, and be screaming, and there's nobody else there. This was like a Tuesday, I think. There was 0 other people. Nobody waiting in line. No other tourists around. 0 people. Me, 3 dudes, the owner, and a murky puddle that I threw my head into. And I'm hanging upside down. Motherfucker, woo, yeah! Freaking out, screaming and shit. Having the time of my life, breathing heavy. And then I just leave, and they're like, all right, back to break. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. The solo travel is kind of weird. It's nice when you meet up with people. It is nice when you get invited out to do things. But part of, I think, solo travel and part of meeting a lot of people is going out and having a drink or whatever. That is just how we've been programmed to socialize. We go to bars. So eliminating that, it can be isolating. And I was told that. I was warned by a few people that have done a little bit of solo traveling. They're like, hey, you're going to get really depressed sometimes, and now I'm going to go out. So the cameras and the filming have been good in that regard, because I'm like, I have to go document this. I've made it my mission, even though nobody's requiring me. I'm not getting paid to do this or anything like that. But I'm like, I have to go out and film around the city today. So that has forced me out a little bit. And I would recommend it. I would recommend setting a goal for yourself if you're ever going to do it, if you're ever going to go travel alone. And you don't drink. I mean, it's kind of a unique set of circumstances. But if you don't want to go, straight into the bar route, there's a lot of ways to meet people, like on subreddits and whatnot. And otherwise, I have no idea. I guess you just have to get yourself something that's going to force you out to be around people, whether it's like filming or whatever, making a big hullabaloo. Because the camera has also attracted a lot of people to me. They're like, hey, what the fuck? Who are you? And I get to say, oh, I'm a nobody. And they're like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool, though. And I'm like, yeah, I'm doing this thing. And they're like, wow, you have a lot of followers. And I'm like, no. And they're like, okay, well, it's still kind of cool. And I'm like, yeah, you should follow me on Instagram. And I give them my card and never hear from them again. Hear from very few of them, I should say. But that's it, guys. I think that's it for this episode. I really went off on a tear there on America. And honestly, it does scare me. It scares me because people have been asking, like, hey, when are you coming home? I don't know. Is there a home right now? It's been like 35 days that you guys haven't had a fucking government. Like, at what point? I don't know. Is there a home? Like, should I come home? It's kind of a weird question to be looking, be like, I'm kind of in Thailand right now where it might be a much poorer country. It might have air pollution. I might be a little out of my element. But they have a working government that's taking care of their fucking people right now. It's scary, man. It's really weird to see all this news coming out from America, and like, sure, I'm getting the Americanized version of it. I'm watching, blips on Colbert and whatnot, and I'm listening to a million comedians' hot takes from New York City. But on the flip side, like, dude, the headlines that came out about Trump meeting people in China in the US that I saw versus the headlines that I saw in China were two different stories entirely. They're like, yeah, no, we bent that bitch over and he's not gonna do shit to us. And then they're like, he's like, oh yeah, it was very tough, very good meeting. And it's just like, it's scary, man. There's some, like, there is a mad propaganda machine happening. I mean, all over the place. And I'm part of it now. Now I'm part of it. I'm spreading lies myself because I don't know shit about shit. I don't know what I'm talking about. But it's fucking weird. So I'm planning on coming home pretty soon, but I'm severely concerned about what home is and where home is. Because being like a citizen of the world right now feels a lot safer than being a citizen of the US. Because it's fucking, you guys are really getting crazy over there. Anyways, I hope the government reopens soon. I hope there's TSA eventually so that I can try to fly in and, like, not have airports shut down. I hope people that were on food stamps can get food stamps again. I hope WIC opens back up. And I hope everybody has a great, happy time. Sorry to end on such a bad note, but it's scary. I feel for you guys. I feel for anybody in the U.S. who's affected by this bullshit and this fighting and this infighting. But I hope one day all of us little bugs stop fighting over the stupid little things that separate us and realize that we're not even fighting for a piece of the pie anymore. We're like, none of us have a piece of the pie. We are all fighting over crumbs, my guy. Crumbs. And the pie, the pie is owned. So let's quit arguing over the little bullshit and let's get some pie, man. Let's get the pie together. Thanks so much for listening to this episode, you guys. I hope it wasn't too much of a downer. I hope you guys enjoy this. I don't know, just the ramblings of a crazy man who's been alone for 6 months and is under a small tent made out of a chair and blanket in Bangkok, Thailand. I really do appreciate it. Hope you guys are enjoying the videos. Again, follow me. Head over to youtube.com/unguidednations. Go to Instagram @unguidednations. You can always follow me @Richie Tolway. Check me out on Facebook. That's where I post the videos. Please go to YouTube, though, and subscribe on YouTube because that is the most easily monetizable channel. Most easiest way that I'm ever going to make a living doing any of this other than this podcast, which I'll probably just get murdered for before that. But again, check me out @UnguidedNations on everything. Go to unguidednations.com. You can send me an email. Talk shit to me. Tell me that you did a past life regression and you saw my ex-wife. Whatever you want to do. Email me at unguidednations@gmail.com. I'm answering your questions. I'm taking your calls. I'm listening now. So thanks, you guys. Thanks for listening. I will talk to you next week. I am Richie Tolway with Unguided Nations. See you next week on another episode.